Welcome to the golden era of social media. It is 2026, and 2026 just has the best vibe to it. It's going to be an amazing year for anybody who creates on social media. It's the best time ever to be an influencer, a content creator, a podcaster, anybody who creates content on social media. In 2026, it's going to be a great year at the office. We're all getting promoted this year. I can feel it. My vibe this year, and the vibe we all need to have at the office, is thinking less, posting more, and just getting shit done. Execution. I don't know about you, but the past few years with content for me, with business, with everything, my Achilles heel, my kryptonite, if you will, it has been over-planning, overthinking, and not posting enough. I've been too deep in the Canva slide decks and the Pinterest boards. I deem the word of 2026 for the office of Busy Blooming for all of us here is consistency. That's going to be our vibe. And I think our mantra for the year should be stick to the plan, not your mood. And just show up and post and create more on social. And we need to stop thinking so much. And so I'm bringing that energy into 2026 planning because I already know there are so many things you want to do on social media. There's so many goals that you have. You have a big, scary vision. And I know there are so many things you want to do, so many types of content you want to create. You have a picture in your head. And the only way we're going to get there is by stopping thinking so much and over planning so much. So today we have a lot of work to do. I'm going to be going through my 2026 planning process that is very focused on execution, the plan, rather than the what. We're really dialing in today on the how. And the vibe going into January this year needs to be starting messy and starting not ready. If you are not feeling 100% together, you have everything ready for 2026, I don't either, but we're going to start anyways. Because again, the vibe of the year is consistency, sticking to the plan, not our mood. We're going to stop overthinking. We just have a lot to unpack today to kick off the golden era of social media. So let's get into it. Let's clock in for the first time in 2026 and let's go to work together today. Okay, so for 2026, one of the biggest habits, which we're going to talk about today, that I really want to do with content is batching and scheduling my content. And of course, the tool I'm going to be using this year to do that is Rella. My vision and my dream for 2026 is to wake up on a Monday morning, open up my Rella, and it is my gorgeously scheduled and done content calendar that is color-coded in my Busy Blooming blue, because you can do that in Rella. And everything is planned and scheduled and going to auto-post to all the different platforms. Rella is an all-in-one social media tool. You can build a gorgeous content calendar, plan ahead, and auto-publish across platforms. But my favorite part of Rella is Ella. This is the most genius thing I have ever seen, especially going to 2026. Using Ella is going to change your life and give you this competitive advantage as a creator. So here's how I'm going to use Ella for 2026, and you can too. So I'm first going to ask Ella to look at my 2025 analytics, and it instantly tells me what performed best and what didn't, and what I should do next. It's not just your analytics. It tells you what to double down on, why things are working great. It gives you suggestions. Then I can literally say to Ella, build me a content calendar based on that, and Ella creates the calendar and she drops it straight into your content calendar in Rella. And the thing with these content ideas that it gives you is what makes Ella so cool, which is that you tell her context of your brand, your goals, things you don't want to say, things you do want to say. So when she gives you content ideas or feedback or whatever it is, she knows all that context of your goals as a creator, which is just so cool. So at this point, we all know we need to use Rella. It's going to change our life and make us just feel like we have it together in 2026. If you want to get started with Rella, you can use code BusyBlooming for 10% off annual plans or 3 months. And thank you so much to Rella for sponsoring this episode. I'm always so honored to work with Rella. I just love them so much. So go check them out. I'll link everything down below and let's get into it. Okay, so going into 2026 planning, I'm going to break down what I have done to plan for this year. And again, keep it super lean, super high level, and really focus on execution and all of that. So if you're in Busy Blooming HQ, I will say, I know on this podcast, we have been on a bit of a break. I have not been on a break in HQ. So I've already posted throughout the last few weeks episodes on this. We've had live sessions on this. We have a Canva slide deck. You have heard this. But for the rest of the office over here in the YouTube, Spotify department, I'm going to quickly go over it. So here is my get shit done planning routine. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do, and you've probably already done this at this point, is just doing a stop, start, continue brain dump for 2025. I personally did a little walk this morning. I did a stop, start, continue walk. And I really reflected. I'm like, okay, what are the things I want to stop from 2025 and like leave in 2025? Obviously overthinking and over planning. So very simple, stop, start, continue. Like that's all we're going to do. Again, in HQ, we have like a 20 question deep dive. But for the sake of this, stop, start, continue as a creator with your content, with your business. Then I just did a big, scary vision board. I personally did not do a 2026 vision board. I just did a big, scary vision board of like the 20-year goals, the 10-year from now goals of like who I want to be, how I want to dress, what I want to do with Busy Blooming, with the podcast, with my content, goals I want to hit, numbers, finances, everything. I just did a big, scary vision board, and that is my desktop background. I did not do a 2026 one because I mentally just find that so much more grounding of just like how I'm feeling right now. Okay, and then instead of doing 2026 goals, what I did instead is I did a to-do list and a wish list. And so I don't know if you relate to this, but I personally am feeling like I don't necessarily need a big rebrand. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to be known for. I just need to figure out like how to actually do it. So what I've done is I have split my goals. Rather than doing goals, I've created a to-do list and a wish list. So a to-do list is a brain dump of all the things I have full control over in 2026 I want to do. For example, one of the things I wanted to do was get a microphone foam with Busy Blooming on it. I've just always wanted to do this. I did that. As you can see, it's gorgeous. I also want to add a news channel to Busy Blooming HQ and start doing social media updates. I want to add in a content pillar of mental health. I want to host an in-person event with Busy Blooming. I want to start posting more podcast clips with a little watermark over it. There are certain styles of content pillars, things I want to do with the business. Like there are so many things I want to do with my content, with my business. Like what are all the things I just want to do? Again, we're getting stuff done. We need a to-do list. Okay, and then after that, I made a wish list. So these are things I don't have full control over. Like maybe going back on a Dear Media podcast would be really fun. Or going back to LA and being on Alyssa's podcast again. Going to New York Fashion Week, maybe hitting a follower count, hitting an income count, working with certain brands. Like these are things you don't have full control over, or hitting certain milestones that you can't like go out and do today. But I think it's so important to separate your mind, your to-do list and your wish list of things you have full control over of what you want to do that you can go through and check off throughout the year, and then your wish list of like your dreams and your goals that you really want. Okay, and then this is the most important part, is I actually went through and made a big list and updated my calendar of habits and things in my schedule I want to do. This is something I skip over basically every single year. I'm always like, I want to hit 100K and make X amount of money, and like, great, that's it. But going to 2026, like I said, we need to get stuff done. We need to focus in. We're going to be consistent. So focusing in on habits and things in my schedule is what I spent majority of my time on planning. Is like, okay, what are the personal habits, business habits, content habits that I want to do this year? And I'm going to share mine in a second. But that is so important to think about. Time management for me has always been something I've been so bad at. So in a second, I'll go through my habits and schedule I'm going to do this year to maybe provide some inspo. Okay, and then the last thing I did is my Q1 content strategy. We're not doing a full year content strategy. I just know myself, and I know you too. We're going to change our mind. If we start planning the content we're going to post in September of 2026, it's going to be irrelevant by the time we actually get there, because we change our minds, we evolve, we adapt. We're human beings. Like, we're not robots. We're allowed to evolve and change and pivot. I love a pivot. I love a rebrand. Maybe we'll do another rebrand this summer. Like, we just don't know. So all I focused on this year going into 2026 was Q1 content strategy, and I'm going to give you mine in a second. So that is it. That is my get shit done planning routine. Consistency, execution focused, a quick foundation, stop, start, continue vision board, your to-do list, your wish list, your habits, and your Q1 content strategy. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the habits and things I'm putting in my schedule to have this energy going into the year. And then I'm going to go through a really high level Q1 content strategy of how I'm planning my content in the first quarter of 2026. Just warning, it is super simple, high level, because that's what we need. Okay, so some of the habits I'm going to do this year with content and with business, with all of this, is firstly, we're going to see how this goes, but I think I'm not going to have any social media on my phone. I want to only have social media on my iPad and my laptop. Going into this new year, I really want to feel a separation between my business and my content and my life. And That is never how you're going to feel as an entrepreneur. I really do feel like this is my whole life, and it has been the last like 6 or 7 years. But I say this all the time, but I feel like scrolling and doom scrolling is so detrimental for us as creators, entrepreneurs, because we are clocking everything. It's clocking to us. Every TikTok we see, every Instagram story, we're noticing the fonts they're using, this way they're filming, their filming setup, what they're doing. Like, we are analyzing everything. And so going into 2026, I'm going to see how it goes just having social media on my iPad and my computer, and kind of having this vibe of when I go on social media, I'm like going to work, I'm clocking in. I'm looking for TikTok trends, what's trending. I'll obviously post from my iPad. Worst case, I'll download Instagram, post a story, and delete it. But I'm really going to try to have this habit of no social media on my phone. And already I've been loving it. Okay, the next habit is I'm going to start doing monthly meetings with myself. I love to have a meeting with myself. Is that weird? I don't know. I feel like it's fun. So I have it in my calendar already. On the last Friday of every month, I'm either going to like take myself for lunch or rent like a WeWork boardroom, or just like do it in my apartment. But have like a CEO strategy meeting with myself of where I'm at with like content strategy, how I'm feeling, any stop start continues, just like feeling really grounded and aligned on the next month of what I'm focused on, the goals, how things are going, and just like look at the business with content with like a 30-foot view. That's one of the habits and things I want to put on my schedule. Okay, something else, another habit I'm going to do with content is habit stack filming. So stop just filming like one thing at a time. So whether it's this podcast, especially if you do long form content, like when I'm filming a YouTube video, I should be filming a few TikToks, Instagram, carousel pictures. Like I should be doing other things when you're already all set up, you're already ready. So that is another habit I'm going to implement, is habit stacking my filming. So when I'm done this podcast, now after this, I'm going to film a few TikToks. Another thing is I'm going to keep with the founder hour in the mornings, around 8 a.m. every morning, doing a founder hour. Again, like grounding yourself in your vision, checking on your goals. Sometimes this could even be 10 minutes, but just getting in CEO mode to start the day of like, where am I going? How am I feeling? How's the business doing? What are the brand deals we're working on? Like just a bit of a state of the union every morning. Another habit is I'm going to try to batch and schedule my content this year, obviously using Rella, but I want to be that person who wakes up on a Monday and their content is like gorgeously scheduled for the week. I have notoriously been such a hater of batching content, but I'm going to try to break the habit of doing that and like stop hating it so much and like actually try to do that so we can be consistent. That is truly the key to consistency, is like batching and scheduling content. Another habit is focusing on less, like just trying to do less every single month. This is always my kryptonite every year, is trying to do a million things. So each month having less focuses on social media platforms and goals. Another one is using my Notion dashboard every single day. I was really bad at that last year, but truly every single morning in my founder hour, like going to my Notion dashboard, updating the to-do list, the content calendar, going into Rella, like really using my Notion dashboard and Rella to stay super organized. Another habit is doing photo Fridays. Me and Maddie do this together. Maddie is our amazing social media manager at Busy Blooming. And so photo Fridays, doing that together, where we meet up on Friday and we do an hour or two of content of like taking pictures, videos, B-roll, all that, which I love. And then lastly is doing monthly content challenges. So we're doing this in HQ, which I'll talk about more at the end, but just picking a content calendar for each month and just sticking to it, like just creating a plan to stick to. So those are all the content habits and like business habits I'm going to be doing for this year. And these might switch up, these might change, adding new ones in, but these are all things that will help me get closer to that big scary vision, help me accomplish the things on my to-do list, on the wish list. In terms of personal habits, because they're also so important to think about, one thing I really want to do is try to wake up at like 5:30 or 6. The main motivator behind that is I feel like it gives me a superiority complex. I feel like when I'm up at 5:30 or around like 6 a.m., I feel like I am superior, and I think that is just good energy to have. So that's a personal habit. I have so many like mental health habits, things I want to do and keep doing in 2026, which I could go into more detail on, which I think I will in an upcoming vlog. But those are all the habits and things I want to put in my schedule. So these are really important to think about going to 2026. This is more important than any goals, anything, because this is the execution. This is like how you're going to actually do it. Okay, and then going into the Q1 content strategy, like how to plan content for Q1, this is what I'm doing. So all I'm going to do is pick 3 content pillars and then just stick to the content calendar. So I made a content calendar in Busy Blooming HQ that I'm going to follow, but just pick 3 content pillars. Just pick them. I don't even care if they are exactly what you want to be known for, if they're exactly perfect, if they feel exactly right. Just pick 3. I'll give you mine in a second. Create a content calendar and just stick to it. Like, assign a style per day and just do it. It's like it's literally 25 days of content. The reason I think January is a really good month to do content pillars and Q1 in general is because it's a really good way to test out different styles of content and see what works. In my head, January is always fake. Like, January's not real. Everything you do in January, it's a 30-day trial. Like, it is a time to have content flop, post content without really overthinking it, and just like see how things go and learn by doing rather than learn by like overthinking and planning and analyzing too much. So going to Q1, that is all I'm doing. It's posting as the person who would post on that big scary vision board, posting as them, and just picking 3 content pillars, posting every single day with a certain style per day, and just focusing in and doing that. There are a million content strategies you could do, but I feel like just picking one and sticking to it is really like the secret with social. With content pillars, I know it can feel a little bit overwhelming of like, okay, how am I supposed to nail it down to like 3 different things I want to talk about? Another way to think of content pillars is it's 3 different ways you accomplish your mission or help your target audience. So for example, my content pillars on my personal brand are going to be mental health when you're ambitious, like just the juxtaposition of that of struggling with your mental health when you have a lot of goals. Second pillar is my journey and my mistakes and lessons of doing all this. And my third one is the life of running social media's office, like getting ready, my outfits, behind the scenes of filming equipment, like all of that. And then Busy Blooming has its separate content pillars, which is obviously what needs to come across your desk, news, platform updates, my opinion on the industry, like all of that. So just pick 3 content pillars. This could be a series, it could be a certain style, but it's 3 different things that you want to be known for, 3 different things that you want to help your audience with that accomplish your mission, but just pick 3 and just stick to it. You're literally picking these for such a short amount of time, and you can change them. You're allowed to change them. Okay, so your action item for the week is to do this. It's to pick your 3 content pillars for Q1, make your to-do list, make your wish list, and that's the action item for the first week at work at the Busy Blooming office. Okay, so that is our meeting for the week. I feel like the key with all this is just to do it and start and like not think so much. How many times can I say this episode? Do it, start posting without feeling 100% ready, because that's how you're going to feel ready, is learning by doing, seeing how stuff performs and seeing how you feel while creating. Like that's the vibe. That is our vibe for 2026. Okay, now let's move into our next segment, which is our content ideas and trends of the week. Okay, so content ideas and trends of the week. So I'm going to do 1 trend and then 1 unique idea. As always, Busy Blooming HQ, we have a content idea and trends report every Sunday. Fill up your content calendar for the week. So let's start with the idea and then we'll get into the trend. Okay, so I'll put an example on the screen. This idea is from Erin Confortini. I love her. I feel like she is such a good creator. And she did this content idea of things I changed my mind on this year, which I love that prompt. So she did this in more of like a get ready with me style, and she talks about like finances, and she also talks about like her life and different things. So I thought this was such a good idea to do things I changed my mind on this year, but then attach it to your brand and your theme. So I could be like, things I changed my mind on this year about social media or about content creation. And this could either be in like a get ready with me style or just like sitting with a cup of coffee. It could be a carousel. It could be a voiceover vlog. It could also be focused on like one thing you change your mind on this year and then more thoughts on that. But I love this prompt of things I changed my mind on this year and then attaching it to something. Endless styles you could do, endless ways you could do this. You could do this as like a theme for the week as well. I love this. Okay, and then the trend of the week. So this one is so funny. I've been seeing this mainly on Instagram Reels. This is like a 6-second video, and all it is 1 clip of you with the text on screen. So the text on screen says, proud of myself because I haven't done blank this year yet. And then in like little brackets, it's like, it's been 1 week. I love this. So for example, I could be like, proud of myself because I haven't crashed out about content this year. It's been 1 week. I think it's just so funny, and I love this trend. So easy. I love a text on screen trend. They're just like so easy to do. Okay, so now I think we're done with work and it's time to get into after hours. So we have a voice note to listen to, and then we're going to discuss a few things. So let's clock out of work and let's get into after hours. Okay, so I'm going to kick off after hours talking about a voice note. I've been loving what we've been doing on the podcast every week of doing a voice note each week from HQ, just giving some like advice or some opinion on content strategy, like just social media, all of this. So let's take a listen.
Hi Tess. First, I have to say thank you so much for all you do for Busy Blooming. I love HQ and the podcast. I joined in September and it has helped me so much. As I'm starting to sit down and think about 2026, I am wondering and feeling very confused about whether I should be niching down my content more. Right now, I'm a fashion and lifestyle motherhood content creator. I have 3 little kids, and honestly, posting on all the platforms I mainly post on: Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And I'm just feeling very overwhelmed by it. And when I look at people's pages that they're like really starting to take off, friends that have been posting for about the same time as me, and I'm so happy for them, but I'm like, they're niching down more. It's like fashion, when you go to somebody's page and you want to find an outfit, you want to be able to see outfits, right? So I get that. So I'm like, am I limiting myself by sharing all these different content pillars? Like in one of your recent episodes, I know you talked about if stuff doesn't perform well, that's like when you drop it, you don't have to share every little aspect of everything. And honestly, I kind of feel a little bit that way because it would protect my peace a little bit more. But at the same time, I also do enjoy doing like day in life and making other moms motivated and sharing different things like that. Should I niche down more or should I keep my content pillars as they are? Thank you so much and happy holidays. Thank you for all you do.
Okay, so I love this question of like feeling overwhelmed with all the different content platforms and then seeing people who posted and started about the same time as you who are taking off, but they're super niche and you're not super niche. So like, what do you do? Okay, so first thing I will say is the comparison of other creators is like the hardest part, especially when you're not feeling like you've reached the point you want to reach at. Like it is so real and so hard. And something that helps so much with comparison is truly creating your own lane. Like thinking no one can do what I do. This is such a signature type of content, such a signature brand. It's so me. Like I can't even compare myself to other people because this is so different. Like that's something that can really help. But in terms of the topic of like, should you niche down, should you not? In my opinion, and just in traditional marketing, and I've said this before, but a niche is not a topic. A niche is a niche market. So as a creator, your niche is not what you talk about. It's who you talk to. And so I think to answer your question, it's really, really important to have a niche audience. And so I would make that the through line of your content is your audience. So rather than just doing outfit of the day, shopping videos, and day in the life, I would make all of it for moms. So outfit ideas for busy moms, matching outfits you can wear with your baby. And then, of course, when you do like day in the life vlogs or morning routines or whatever it is, there's something in there for moms who is the same audience who watches your fashion videos. There's something in there for them too. Whether that's like products you're loving or something you're feeling and going through, you want to relate to them. I will say if you're feeling overwhelmed with like all the different platforms, all the different topics, you can just pick one and like do that for a season of time. Say like, okay, Q1, I'm just going to focus on mom outfits, or Q1, I'm just going to focus on like products I love as a mom. Like that's what you need to do. Again, you have so many seasons of content. You don't have to do all of it at once every single season. So have a super niche audience and then decide to meet yourself where you're at. Like maybe you're just have a lot, like dealing with a lot in your personal life, or you're just having a busy schedule. Maybe you're feeling exhausted. And you need to simplify your content strategy and pull it back for like a quarter or even a month and think this month I'm just going to do like an outfit series. I'm exhausted. It's for my same target audience. And then later in the year, I'll like do more content pillars. But yes, I think you should pick a niche audience and have that be the through line of all your content, if that makes sense. Like everything ties back to them. Okay, a couple of things to wrap up the episode. So the first thing I want to say is that we hit 100K on YouTube, which I'm actually going to make a vlog. I'm starting a new monthly installment on the channel coming in this month, where I'm going to talk more about it, like when we actually get the plaque and everything. But oh my God, hitting 100K was like the craziest thing. It was definitely on my wish list, my goal list for 2025. And it was just so much fun. We literally had it on the TV. Also, a side note, I went home for the holidays. I don't know how people do it when you create social media and like live in your hometown or live with your family, because I feel like when I'm across the country in Toronto, like in the big city, I have so many friends who are content creators, like you're just in a different headspace. But there's something about going home where Creating on social media feels so like childlike. I don't know if it's because I did it in high school, but let me just tell you, the first day I touched down, I'm from Vancouver Island, and I went home. I touched down and I went to get a coffee with my mom. I ran into two of my high school teachers the first day, and they're like, "Hi, Tess," and they're like, "Tess, how are you?" My mom is like, "You guys, she's about to hit 100,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's so amazing." They're like, "We're going to have to go to subscribe to your YouTube." And I'm like, I have never felt more dumb in my entire life. Anyway, if anybody is a content creator, lives in their hometown, lives with family, like, my thoughts are with you, because that vibe I can't even explain. But regardless, we hit 100K. It was so fun. I'm just feeling so grateful. And I'm going to go in more detail about it very soon. I'm going to do an episode on it, of like my tips of my experience growing on YouTube. I'm going to do a vlog about it. Like, I'm just so excited. But I just wanted to say the biggest thank you. Like, you know what's so weird? When you order the YouTube plaque, you can actually order like multiple. And I'm like, should we order 100,000 YouTube plaques? Because we're all a part of this office, and we all need a YouTube plaque that says Busy Blooming, because like we're all a part of this. I feel like you in the comments, our office, our coworkers, like it's such a collective thing. And then obviously people at Busy Blooming, I just feel like it's all of ours. Like, we all hit 100K. So I'm just so excited. Thank you to everybody who's here. Subscribing is, of course, grabbing your desk. And I just feel so grateful and so excited. I'm so excited to get the YouTube plaque, and we're going to do a vlog. We're going to do a bunch of stuff talking about it. So just stay tuned. But thank you. I'm so excited about it. It's been like a dream of mine forever. And I could go on and on and on, and I won't. So okay, I think this wraps up our first episode of 2026. I will see you next Monday at 9 a.m. to clock in for our weekly meeting to start our week together in the office of social media content, Busy Blooming. And welcome back to work. I know the first day at work, sometimes you're tired, sometimes you're a little bit out of it. I personally, the last 3 days, have been sitting on my couch watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. But we are starting the new year feeling not necessarily 100% ready, but we're starting anyways. Anyway, with all that being said, thank you for being here. I'm so excited for this year. I will see you next week, and let's have an amazing week in the world of social and content. It's the first week of official content in your 2026. So have an amazing week posting, and I'll see you on Monday. Okay. Bye.